Happy Halloween and welcome to another English lesson. To celebrate the spooky season, we're going to be doing something a little bit different today, and I've picked a clip from one of my favourite films to help you learn some interesting and useful British vocabulary and phrases. The clip I've chosen comes from Shaun of the Dead, which is a British comedy film about zombies with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, who've done a load of different comedy films and series like Spaced and Hot Fuzz. The particular clip we're going to be watching is about their plan, where they talk about how they are going to organise things now that the zombie apocalypse is upon them. To start this lesson, we are going to listen to the clip together with no subtitles, and I want you to really focus on trying to understand the general idea and the general meaning before we go into detail about all of the specific phrases that they use. Okay, are you ready? Let's go!
So, what's the plan? Right. We take Pete's car, we drive over to Mum's, we go in, take care of Phillip. I'm so sorry, Phillip. Then we grab Mum, we go over to Liz's place, hole up, have a cup of tea, and wait for all this to blow over.
Why have we got to go to Liz's?
Because we do.
She dumped you.
I have to know if she's all right.
Why?
Because I love her.
All right, gay. I'm not staying there, though.
Why not?
If we hole up, I want to be somewhere familiar, I want to know where the exits are, and I want to be allowed to smoke.
Okay. Take Pete's car, go round Mum's, go in, deal with Phillip. Sorry, Phillip. Grab Mum, go to Liz's, pick her up, bring her back here, have a cup of tea, and wait for all this to blow over.
Perfect.
No, wait, we can't bring her back here.
Why not?
Well, it's not exactly safe, is it?
Yeah. The state of it.
Where's safe? Where's familiar?
Where can I smoke?
Take car, go to Mum's, kill Phil, sorry, grab Liz, go to the Winchester, have a nice cold pint, and wait for all this to blow over. How's that for a slice of fried gold?
Yeah, boy!
The plan now that we're going to learn the plan from Shaun of the Dead is that we're going to go through the individual words and phrases that they used which are particularly interesting or challenging, and then we're going to watch the clip again with subtitles so you can practice your listening skills and understand exactly what they said in the video. So let's get started. The first phrase we're going to be looking at is drive over to Mum's. Over is a word that we add in British English to emphasise distance. Normally it's beyond or on the other side of something, but we also just add it when we want to exaggerate that something is far away. In this case, they're saying drive over to Mum's because she lives in a different location, and it's emphasising that they're going to actually have to drive for a distance to get there. Let's look at some of these other examples that I've prepared for you. People over here in England like it. We often use over in this case when you're talking about different countries, so over here, over there, because it's a long distance away, and because you have to fly, you actually fly over other countries to get there. So in this case, if you add over, it just emphasizes that difference. Do you want to come over later? In this case, come over just means come to my house. It's very informal, but we add it very often just to sound very natural. What's that over there in the distance? Again, over there. So instead of just saying there and pointing, we're identifying a place, but I'm trying to tell you that it's really far away. So it just adds that extra emphasis or strength to the expression.
We take Pete's car, we drive over to Mum's, we go in, take care of Phillip. I'm so sorry, Phillip.
The next phrase we're going to be taking a look at is take care of Phillip. In this particular example, they are not using take care in the idea of a parent looking after a child or a doctor looking after a patient. What they mean is Phillip is a problem that they need to handle or deal with. Let's take a look at some of these other examples I prepared for you. I need to take care of something before I leave, meaning there's something that I need to do, something that needs to be handled or taken care of before I can leave. Let's imagine that I need to quickly send an email and then I can go. Can you take care of the meeting arrangements? When someone asks you to take care of arrangements like this, what they mean is they want you to take responsibility for them and they want you to just do it yourself so they don't have to worry about it. Don't worry, I'll take care of the bill. Often we use this in a restaurant to mean that you're going to pay for it, so everyone else doesn't really have to worry about it or do anything in relation to the bill. You just go over and you pay for everything and then it's all sorted. This phrase I think is particularly interesting because it reminds us that even when we know a phrasal verb, there are often times when there are multiple meanings and usages to the same phrasal verb. So you have to be really careful that when you think you know a phrasal verb, that it's being used in the same context and in the same way. So make sure you're paying attention when you're hearing them to make sure it makes sense.
We go in, take care of Phillip.
I'm so sorry, Philip.
Then we go round Mum's, go in, deal with Phillip.
Sorry, Philip.
Grab, take car, go to Mum's, kill Phil.
Sorry.
Moving on then, we're going to look at grab mum. Again, in British English, we often use this informally, meaning to get or to obtain something very quickly or opportunistically. In this case, what they mean is go there, get her very quickly and leave, because this whole plan is about rushing around and doing everything quickly to stay safe. And I've also got some examples for you. Can you grab some milk on your way home? In this case, the idea is that you can just quickly go into the shops, get some milk and come home. It's not going to be a big problem or you have to do loads of different stuff. I'll grab another drink while there's still time. In this case, just meaning you're in a pub and you go to the bar and you're just going to get a drink, but you're going to grab it because you're going to go quickly, maybe because it's almost last call at the end of the night and you want to get one last pint in. I forgot my phone, let me grab it quickly. Again, I'm running back into the house, I quickly get it, and then I go.
Then we grab Mum, we go over to Liz's place, hole up, have a cup of tea, and wait for all this to blow over.
This whole plan is about staying safe because we're in the middle of a zombie apocalypse, and the next phrase is something that really applies to this whole context, which is hole up. If you hole up, you take refuge in a place to avoid detection or distraction. And in this particular context, it's particularly about detection because they don't want the zombies to find them. So if they hole up, it's literally like hiding in a hole, covering the entrance, and then just waiting for them to disappear or to avoid them ever finding you. Here are some other examples. I holed up for 2 days in a tiny cottage in Snowdonia. Maybe there was a big storm and you didn't want to go out because it was maybe dangerous or there was lots of snow, so you went inside the cottage and you just stayed there safe until it was okay to leave. We'd better find some shelter and hole up until the storm passes. Again, the idea that maybe the storm's dangerous, you don't want to be outside, so you need to go and find somewhere safe and stay there until the danger has passed.
Then we grab Mum, we go over to Liz's place, hole up, have a cup of tea, and wait for all this to blow over.
And talking about danger, this next phrase is really, really useful. Wait for all this to blow over. If something blows over, it tends to fade away or disappear slowly and then become forgotten or without any big consequences. So often we use this in a metaphorical way to talk about like an argument where people are really, really angry at each other, but eventually they kind of forget about it and the whole argument disappears and there's no big fight or no big problems that are caused. It just disappears slowly. In that case, you would say the argument blew over. But let's take a look at some of these other examples I prepared for you. I thought that after a few days the argument would blow over. And in this case, what I mean is I thought after a few days they'd just forget about it or it would kind of just disappear and I don't really need to worry about it, but the argument is still going on. We hope that this crisis will soon blow over. Imagining that there's a crisis, there's a really bad situation, and when you say blow over, you're trying to say that you want the crisis to end, but you're also adding that idea that you don't want there to be any lasting problems or really big negative effects afterwards. You kind of just want, like a storm, just to pass over you and then you kind of forget about it and it's all okay afterwards.
Grab Liz, go to the Winchester, have a nice cold pint, and wait for all this to blow over.
The next one is she dumped you. Dumping is about ending a romantic relationship. It's the person who decides to end it and they tell the other person, imagining that they have something and then they throw them away, like throwing them in the rubbish. In this case, you dump your rubbish. So here, when she dumped you, In that case, it means that she said, I don't want to be with you anymore. You're not my boyfriend. You're not my partner. Get out. And here are some other examples. If he's so awful, why don't you just dump him? Like imagining that someone's telling you that they have a really horrible or terrible partner, and you're like, just leave them then. Tell them you don't want to be with them. In this case, just dump them. He dumped her completely out of the blue, meaning that suddenly, without any warning, he just said, it's over. Why are you still talking if she dumped you? This is something common that you hear all the time. Maybe the relationship's ended, but they're still talking, and you're like, why are you talking? Because she dumped you. She said she doesn't want to be your partner anymore. So doesn't really make sense.
Why have we got to go to Liz's?
Because we do.
She dumped you.
I have to know if she's all right.
Why?
Because I love her.
Moving on then, we have go round mums or go round to mums. You can also add to there and it's exactly the same. In this case, round just means go in a particular direction. Often we use it informally in the same way as over. If you go over to someone's house or you go round to someone's house, it's basically exactly the same. Here are some other examples. The garden's round the back. It's just emphasizing that it's in the back direction or the back area of the house. We're going round the pub for a quick drink. In this case, we're just going to the pub, but round just is a nice informal way of emphasizing that that's the direction we're going in. Also, you'll notice here I've also shown going round to the pub, exactly the same. I used to live round here when I was a child, meaning in this general area, you lived in this around here, in this area. Again, informally, we use that in the same way.
Take Pete's car, go round Mum's, go in, deal with Phillip. Sorry, Phillip.
Now, this one's really interesting. Look at the state of it. Now, in this case, the state is often about the condition or situation that something's in, but we use it informally often to talk about where something is very messy or a disaster. So when they were looking at the room, they said, oh yeah, look at the state of it. They mean the room is a complete mess, and that's why he didn't want to invite his ex-girlfriend over. And let's have a look at some examples. Look at the state of the economy after COVID. In this case, it can just mean the current situation or the current condition of the economy, but normally you would imagine that the condition is bad or something negative happened from COVID in this context. Clean up after you're done. I don't want it left in a state. In this case, it literally means I don't want it left in a mess, or I don't want there to be any mess left after you're done whatever you're doing. What an absolute state. In this case, this definitely means a disaster, a mess, and something you're definitely going to get in trouble for if somebody finds it.
No, wait, we can't bring him back here.
Why not?
Well, it's not exactly safe, is it?
Yeah. The state of it.
And the final phrase we're going to look at is actually something very specific from this film and from Nick Frost, who is one of the writers of this film, which is, how's that for a slice of fried gold? In this case, fried gold is actually a reference to fried bread, which you normally have on a fried English breakfast. But this is a particular phrase that they coined in this film, which was a replacement for textbook they used in Spaced, which was a series they worked on before. Basically, the idea of textbook and also fried gold in this context is something really great, something perfect, or the usual way you do it. Imagine that you use a textbook for reference because it's like the perfect example of how to do something. This is basically what they're saying when they use this particular phrase. So looking at textbook in particular, because that's something we use in general English, you could say that's a textbook performance, meaning the way they performed. Imagine like an athlete, and the way they did it was 100% perfect, and it matched exactly how they would explain to do it in a textbook. Then you would call that a textbook performance.
How's that for a slice of fried gold?
Yeah, boy!
And now that we've studied all of the phrases from this particular clip, we're going to watch the clip again with subtitles so you can check that you understand everything that they've said and practice your listening skills for all of these interesting phrases that we've learned. So, take it away, guys.
So, what's the plan?
Right. We take Pete's car, we drive over to Mum's, we go in, take care of Phillip.
I'm so sorry, Phillip.
Then we grab Mum, we go over to Liz's place, hole up, have a cup of tea, and wait for all this to blow over.
Why have we got to go to Liz's?
Because we do.
She dumped you.
I have to know if she's all right.
Why?
Because I love her.
All right, gay. I'm not staying there, though.
Why not?
If we hole up, I want to be somewhere familiar, I want to know where the exits are, and I want to be allowed to smoke.
Okay. Take Pete's car, go round Mum's, go in, deal with Phillip. Sorry, Phillip. Grab Mum, go to Liz's, pick her up, bring her back here, have a cup of tea, and wait for all this to blow over. Perfect. No, wait, we can't bring her back here.
Why not?
Well, it's not exactly safe, is it?
Yeah. Look at the state of it.
Where's safe? Where's familiar?
Where can I smoke?
Take car, go to Mum's, kill Phil. Sorry. Grab Liz, go to the Winchester, have a nice cold pint, and wait for all this to blow over. How's that for a slice of fried gold?
Yeah, boy!
And that's the end of the lesson for today. I hope you've enjoyed watching this clip with me, learning some British vocabulary and practicing your listening skills. If there are any other series, films or clips that you'd like me to review like this to explain the vocabulary, the pronunciation or anything else that you don't understand, put a comment below the video and I will be happy to take a look for you. I hope you have a fantastic week, have a great day learning English, and I look forward to speaking to you very soon.